Shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone while learning this truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect out there scattered abroad, pushing this truth on the four corners of the earth, risk their lives and freedom to do so. It's the brother Tazamak coming back with a quick lesson. I'm going to call this lesson, Immortality Awaits. Okay? Immortality awaits, and it's not far away. I was just going into at camp. I made a statement that kind of stuck in my head. We were talking about prophecy, how prophecy is popping off now, and basically, like, it's not like the 1900s when nothing was going on as far as prophecy, because we see the prophecies popping like fireworks now, right? So with that being said, all the prophecies are coming to pass. You know, World War III, the MO to the pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, economies crashing, America is just finished, right? So with that being said, the Lord is going to crack the clouds. He's going to destroy Babylon. But before he destroys Babylon, we're going to be beamed up to the chariot, like it talks about in Revelation, the 18th chapter, like it talks about in Matthew 24. It's various scriptures, Revelation 11 and 12, it's various scriptures, right? So when we get beamed up, we're going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. This flesh cannot inherit. It can't be in a chariot. Okay, this flesh cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. All right, we wouldn't be able to enjoy the kingdom in its fullness. How are we going to go to different planets, like it says in the book of John, if we're in this wicked, sinful flesh? It wouldn't work. It won't work. Okay, so Lord's will, this is edifying. I'm gonna get some scriptures on this. I'm gonna start off in the book of Romans, the 6th chapter, and I'm gonna go into another thing. I'm gonna go into why we can't be immortal right now. Okay, why we can't? It's a reason why we can't be immortal right now, and this scripture is gonna say it. This is Romans 6 and 23. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Yahweh is eternal life through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, our Lord. Okay, so that's why we die right now, because we're in this sinful flesh. The scriptures call it the chains of darkness. That's why we die right now. That's why we can't be immortal right now. Going all the way back to the garden, we went off. Okay, through the woman became what? The beginning of sin. Through her we what? All die. Okay, Adam, which was, we know was Yahweh Shai. Okay, we say that he was in simp mode because, we were instructed not to eat from the tree, not to eat the fruit from the tree, which symbolically is the philosophies of the other nations. It's not literal. The Bible is written in parabolic form. Okay, you got to have your spiritual goggles on when reading. Ultimately, you got to be chosen to be able to get this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, because there's secrets in the scriptures. Okay, so that's why we die now. And when we get our new bodies, we won't sin no more, so we won't die. All right? And we're under grace right now through Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, through the blood of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? And when we get into that new covenant, we're gonna receive those new bodies, sinless. Okay, the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be written in our inner parts. All right, but right now we have to try to put on a new man as best as we can, be renewed in our mind. Okay, and show the Lord that we're at least trying in this flesh. All right. I'm going to get this precept next in the book of Isaiah. I'm going to go to Isaiah 65. And I'm going to start at verse 17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered. And when it says, for behold, I create new heavens and new earth, because it's going to be a new rulership on the planet. Okay, things are going to be ran totally different, because things are ran wicked here. It's going to be ran in righteousness. All right? And we also know that the earth abides forever. And I'm getting to the point. It says, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind. It's going to be like a bad dream. Okay, our time before we get to the kingdom. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a thing of the past. Verse 18, Isaiah 65 and 18. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, her people a joy. And Jerusalem is a people before a place to talk about Israelites. Okay. Verse 19, and I will rejoice. I'm going to get into what that means because 18 and 19 go hand in hand. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. So, when the Lord comes back, okay, we get the new bodies, we get to the kingdom, man, we're not going to never be sad again. We're going to be constantly rejoicing, man. You're going to be able to actually get a good, nice rest, wake up in a good mood. Over here, I heard Apostle Tahar say it could have been an older video, but it was good. Apostles always bringing that heat. But he said, you know how on this side, they got a saying that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Well, in the kingdom, we ain't gonna never have that. Having a fucked up morning, a bad day. Okay, we always gonna be constantly happy. All right, because there's not gonna be nothing to frown about. We're gonna be the top dogs on the earth, the Israelites. Starting off with the 144,000. Okay, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, King David, and 144,000 on down. We're gonna be governing the earth. Okay, we're gonna get our sovereignty back. And it says, in the voice of weeping, again, Isaiah 65 and 19. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying, because we're not gonna be sad. We ain't gonna have no more bad days. You know how you cry, you can't pay your rent, somebody got hurt, you loved, you in a bad mood for whatever reason. This place is designed to break your mind down. It's a joke, okay? But there's not gonna be no more sad days, man. Okay, there's not gonna be no more sad days. And I wanted to get a point in it, Salakia. Okay. I think I skipped a verse, Salakia. Where is it at? Oh, here we go. I was looking for this. Here we go. Perfect. This is Isaiah 65 and 20. Thought I skipped it. It says, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that had not filled his days. Because, over here you got babies that die after being born. You got older men that be passing away. It says, for the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. And again, you got people that die of old age here. They die before they even reach adulthood. Babies that die coming a couple of days into the world. It's not going to be like that in the kingdom for the Israelites, man. We're going to be immortal and we're going to live forever. That's what it's saying right here. We're gonna live forever. Okay, we're gonna be immortal. All those stories of the baby Jaman. Okay, he died after 5 days of being born, or baby Justin or something like that. Just giving examples. He died at 3 years old. It's not gonna be like that in the kingdom. We can let our kids. We're gonna be able to actually let our kids run around freely and not have to worry about a demon grabbing them up and doing some vile acts with them. It's gonna be that peaceful in the kingdom, man. And that's what Jerusalem means in the Hebrew, Yerushalayim, teaching peace, man. And it says Isaiah 65 and 20. But when it says, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed, because the heathens are still going to die and they're still going to sin. Okay, we're the only ones that are going to be perfect. We're going to be sinless, and we're going to be immortal because we're going to be sinless. I got that at the beginning, Romans 6 and 23. The wages of sin is death. Okay. I'm going to get this next in the book of Philippians, because Apostle Paul went into these things that we're about to receive. Okay. So this is Philippians 3 and 21. Who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. And it says, who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body. Who's going to change our body? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, fashioned unto his glorious body. When Yahushai raised from the dead on the third day, which was a Monday, for you idiots out there, he had a new body. He had a new body in our vile body, because this body is this flesh that we're in is wicked. Okay, The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. 9.5 out of 10 people just go to the house of feasting, which is the flesh. Okay, they don't have no rule over their spirit, man. All right, and it says he is able even to subdue all things unto himself, even able to subdue what? Death. Okay, and we're gonna get another precept on that. Death. All right, we're not gonna die no more. I'm gonna go to the book of 1 Corinthians 15. And I'm gonna start at 52. Well, I'm gonna start at verse 50. Slakia, 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High. And I was talking about that in the beginning of the lesson. Okay, this flesh cannot. We can't enjoy the fullness of the kingdom in these weak ass mortal bodies, man. Okay, we can't. We're gonna have to get the same body as Yahweh Shai, which he's an immortal. We're gonna be an immortals as well. We're gonna be immortals as well. Okay, and it says, neither do corruption inherit incorruption. Okay, because right now we can still die. Okay, this body can still perish. All right, because of sin. Okay, when we put on that incorruption, we're gonna put on immortality. We're not gonna perish. We're not gonna die. We're not gonna sin. Okay. Verse 51, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. When it says sleep, that means that we're not going to die. Okay, because the bros that died in Yahweh Shai, they're just sleeping right now. They're going to get rose when he comes back. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. It says, but we shall all be changed. Changed to what? Those new bodies. Verse 52, 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. It's going to happen like that, like the snap of a finger. It's not going to be no long process like in the Matrix where they were working on Neo. It's going to be like the snap of a finger. It says, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay, it takes faith to believe that. All right, because when Yahweh Shai makes his return, the dead in Yahweh Shai is going to rise first. Okay, and it says, I'm going to go back up to the top, 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, and at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, like that, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we should be changed. Okay, for this corruptible, saying it again, must put on incorruption. Okay, so we're not going to be in these wicked flesh-like bodies no more, man. Okay, and when we put on that incorruption, we're going to put on immortality. That's what it's talking about. All right, because this corruptible flesh, it decays and can die. Okay. Number one, the morality. Okay, even though we try our best to put on a new man, we still sin because we're in these chains of darkness. Okay. So 1 Corinthians 15 and 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. It's saying it plain in the end. You see, verse 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, immortality, and this mortal shall have put on immortality. So you go. There you go. Then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. So we're going to be able to subdue all things, just like Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, even death, man, through Yahweh Shai. Okay. And it says, verse 55, 1 Corinthians 15 and 55, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Okay. We're going to get the victory over death. All right. How many people do you know can say that? I'm going to close in the book of Isaiah. (25) and 8. He will swallow up death and victory, and the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from all faces. Okay, so we're going to be able to swallow up death through victory through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, we're going to be able to swallow up death because we're going to get those new bodies. Death ain't going to see us. All right, there ain't going to be no bucket list. You get a bucket list when you're about to die. The list of things you're going to do before you die. There ain't going to be one. Okay, the Lord's going to extend the time of the day so we're able to enjoy our immortality. We ain't going to never be bored or sad again. Have to argue with a woman again in the kingdom. Okay, it's going to be peace. Okay? And it says, It says, the Lord Yahweh will, Isaiah 25:8, the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from off of all faces. Okay, because we're not going to be sad no more, man. We're not going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We're going to know nothing but happiness in the kingdom. Okay, the Israelite man's going to have it made. You know, even for the Israelite man that's not a part of the 144,000, they're going to be living good. Okay, it says, in the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. You know, because we're looked at in a negative stigma on this side. Okay, they talk bad about us. All right, they sag their pants. They're homosexuals. The women are out of order. They're disobedient to their parents. Okay, so these things, you know, gave us a bad reputation. The Lord's going to take that away. We're going to get fame and praise in every land, like it talks about in the book of Zephaniah. All right. So Lord's will, this was an edifying lesson. With that, I'm going to say shalom.